Are you in a relationship with a narcissist and they just keep promising you the world and then it never materializes? You might be a victim of what we call future faking. And by the end of this video, you're going to know all about what future faking is, how to spot it, and how not to fall for it. Hi, I'm Rebecca Zung, top 1% attorney and the best-selling author of the books Negotiate Like You Matter and Breaking Free, a step-by-step divorce guide. And I've helped thousands of people go from lives of drama, trauma, and chaos to step into lives of freedom, possibility, and purpose. And I do the same thing for you right here on this channel. So if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Subscribe, hit the notification bell. And that way you'll get notified every time I upload new content or I go live or new videos, and you'll be all up to date on what's going on with narcissists and how to negotiate your way out of that relationship with that narcissist. So let's talk about future faking. So you know the word integrity, doing what you say you're going to do? Well, that doesn't really apply to narcissists. And in fact, if you keep allowing narcissists to continue to promise you the world and then you realize it's not materializing, you're actually enabling their behavior, which of course is not something that we necessarily want to do, because we want to maybe hopefully get out of these relationships with these narcissists. So what happens with narcissists is part of the love bombing process, which is how they get you into these relationships in the first place, is just kind of promising you the world. You know, the whole concept of overpromise or underdeliver, or under promise and overdeliver, you know, that you're supposed to do in sales. They kind of do the over promise and under deliver. That's basically what future faking is. They say whatever they need to about what your future might be in order to get you to do what they want you to do, or get you to get off of what it is that you're bothering them about. Or even in the beginning of the relationship, when they're in the love bomb stage, which they do love bomb all throughout the relationship when they need to, by the way. And if you want to know more about love bombing, you should definitely check out my video on love bombing. But you know, one of the 101 conversation that, you know, the glossary of basic narcissistic terms is that you need to know about is what we call this future faking. And I have a whole bunch more videos on the 101s, basic terms on narcissism, and you should definitely check out some of those as well, especially, you know, gaslighting and flying monkeys and narcissistic injury and supply and things like that. And all of those videos are also on my channel. So, but what happens with narcissists is they want you to do what they want you to do, which is give them an endless amount of narcissistic supply. So narcissistic supply is anything that feeds their ego. So it can be giving them tons of compliments and adulation and respect, or maybe it's giving them money, or maybe it's giving them a place to live, or maybe it's, you know, giving them the prestige of being with you, or allowing you a life that they want, something like that. But they also get supply from, you know, manipulating you and lying to you and getting you to do things that they want you to do, and devaluing you and putting you down and making you know that, you know, that you are lesser to them, you know, just even in little small ways sometimes, like not remembering to do something that you asked them to do or something like that. But with future faking is a way of getting you to believe that, okay, even though you're not getting what you want from them now, that you will get it from them at some other time. So down the road, you're going to have this amazing life together, or starting now, they're going to be so much better. I was just talking to a client whose husband was, looking at other women online and doing all of these things. And she almost left him. And he said, I will never, never, never do that again. In fact, I will get rid of all my social media pages. I'll do whatever I need to do in order to keep you, in order for you to stay with me. Don't leave me, don't leave me, don't leave me. And so all this future promise of how life would look. And then they stick to it for a little bit of a period of time, but then they really can't maintain that because they really didn't plan to keep their promise anyway. So they stick to it for a little bit of a period of time, and then of course they fall off the map and they don't end up continuing with whatever it was they said they were going to do. And in this particular case, that husband, of course, continued to maintain relationships with women online because he just thought that he would be able to get away with it. Because, the reason why he continues to do that is because of that whoring that they need to do of getting as much narcissistic supply as they possibly can. So he didn't really plan to ever get rid of these other women online. He just wanted to future fake it with the wife to say, I will do this, and in the future things will be better, and look, I'm going to be the person that you always wanted me to be, and blah, blah, blah. And it's just empty promises, empty promises. That's basically what future faking is a bunch of empty promises. And if this is sounding familiar to you, give me an amen in the comments. So how do you know if you're enabling future faking? It's by making excuses for this person. And sometimes we do that in order to kind of protect ourselves because we don't want to believe that this person is bad. And so sometimes we'll find ourselves making excuses. Like, let's say somebody said that they're going to start coming home on time. That this person is always late, and they said, okay, from now on, I'm going to start coming home on time. And so now they start saying things like, I can't make it. I have to work late. Traffic is bad. I have a big project going on. And so you find yourself kind of making excuses for that person, like, well, they have a lot of work commitments, or, well, reliability isn't really their strong suit, or punctuality isn't really their strong suit. It never really has been. And so you start making excuses for that person. Another type of way that we sort of enable it is by saying something like, I know his or her heart is in the right place. And a lot of times we do this really because we don't want to believe that this person that we've been with or spent so much time with, it can be bad, and a lot of times it's not all bad. I mean, that's the thing with narcissists, because of the love bomb stage, sometimes things are actually not all bad. Sometimes they seem like they can be really good, and we spend like the entire relationship craving, wanting that goodness to come back, wanting to see that good part of that person. And so sometimes we make excuses by saying, hey, I know that the person's heart is in the right place, even though they're not doing what they say they're going to do. Another way that we enable it is to just say, you know what, I've just decided I'm going to live with that. I know that they're never going to do what they say they're going to do. So I just assume that I'm going to be responsible. So let's just say that this person says, I know you've been shouldering a lot of the housework. I know we both work all the time, and you do everything at home. I'll take on doing the laundry. And maybe the person does the laundry for like a week or two, and then, there it is, the laundry's piling up. So instead of wanting to start an argument, you find yourself saying, you know what, I'll just go ahead and do it. I'll just assume that, it's all my responsibility. And if the other person decides to do it, well, that's a bonus, but I'm not going to expect it. I just expect that they're not going to keep their word. That also enables the narcissist. The other thing that enables it is just not bringing it up at all, not reminding them what their promise was. And a lot of times when you're dealing with a narcissist, you don't want to remind them what their promise was, because if you do, it can end up being a big, huge fight. And if you know that that's the case, then you're probably with a narcissist, because a person who's not a narcissist, who wants a relationship to work, who actually has care and empathy for the other person would be like, oh my God, you're right. I'm so sorry. I said that I would do that and I didn't do that. That's what a person who has integrity would do. But a narcissist wants to deflect. They want to project. They want to make sure that it's your fault. You know, if you are afraid to bring it up because you know that they're going to say, you're right, I didn't do that. It was because it's your fault. I'm sorry you didn't do what you said you were going to do. You know, that whole faux apology. If you want to know more about narcissists, faux apology, and whether or not they say sorry, check out my video on do narcissists say sorry? And if they do they mean it? But, you know, a lot of times that's what you're going to get. And so if you find yourself just not bringing it up at all, it's probably because you just don't want the backlash of whatever that's going to be. So, you know, they future faked. They said they were going to do something. They didn't do it. And you just find yourself saying, and you know what, I'm not going to bring it up. It's not even worth it. So if you find yourself harboring a ton of resentment, because who harbors more resentment about the future faking that didn't happen? You think it's the narcissist, or you think it's the person who was the victim of the narcissist? I guarantee you it's the person who's been the victim, because you just sit there and you go, okay, well, this person is not delivering on their promises. They're not keeping their promises to me. I either I bring it up and I deal with the wrath, or I don't bring it up and then I still end up not getting what it is that I wanted. And so you end up carrying this sadness and this resentment, and it actually turns into feeling terrible about yourself and feeling guilty that you want something because that's what they want you to feel. And or you end up having like no self-esteem or no sense of self, and you end up feeling like you're just a shell of yourself because of this these empty promises that just keep not materializing. Because, you know, obviously you start to think, I guess I'm just not worth having these promises be delivered on. You know, I guess I'm not worth this person doing what they say they're going to do, where it's actually the opposite. The other person just has no sense of self and no sense of self-worth and no sense of value. So they try to put everybody down and make it look like that they're better than everybody else. And so it's the great game of manipulation. It's just one form of manipulation that they use to get people to do what they want them to do. So in the end, future faking is really a classic sign of narcissism. And if you are seeing this, then you are probably in a relationship with a narcissist, unfortunately. If you are getting ready to negotiate with a narcissist, grab my free Crush My Negotiation prep worksheet. You can get it at winmynegotiation.com. And if you like this video, just give it a like, give it a share if you think somebody else could use this information. And make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell. And if you want extra support, come on over and join me in my free private Facebook group. It's called Narcissist Negotiators with rebeccazung. And I will make sure to drop a link to that and everything else below as well. I'm rebeccazung. Thanks so much for stopping by. Remember, today's a great day to start negotiating your best life. I'll see you in the next video.